Hey guys, most of you probably thought, but customer build number one a long time completed, so that's already gone. But really we have to make another episode, and what's happened is my customer really wanted dual GPU setup, but the problem was that 16-speed PCI slot was burned, so we can't really use it, so we only have 8 and 4 times speed slot, which is not really good for SLI type of setup. It just makes no sense, and I don't think it's even will work properly. So we went back and forth. I suggested to use one GPU, which probably will be the easiest way to go out of this situation, but customer decided that he will do things in the right way and replace all faulty parts. So he already get his 780 replaced a long time ago, but he also decided to go forward and buy a new motherboard. Maximus 6 already discontinued, so we got Maximus 7, which have a few nice upgrades, like copper block instead of aluminum and stuff like this. So what we're going to do, we're not going to water cool anything here, we just use as is. So we get rid of the stupid connection in this area, in the bottom part, which was create a lot of problems from the beginning, and I wouldn't even recommend to go that route for Maximus 6 users over there. So what we're going to do, I will water cool card, drain the system, replace mobile, and I think because the layout's so similar, I probably will just have to reuse everything, including tube cuts, but we'll see how it goes. I will continue to film it, but my gut feeling that it's only so much you can show the same stuff, so I don't think anybody wants to see another slow motion, fast forward or whatever installation of a GPU block. Probably people just will run away. So I will just show you a couple snippets how progress will go and how I assemble it back, and I think it will be a more interesting way to do so. If you disagree, let me know, but my feeling is that repetition is not the best strategy to entertain people, right? Well, interesting enough, well guys, it's the same story again and again. This chip was touching, this chip was touching thermal pads. Those two chips weren't even no imprint whatsoever, so those was hanging in the air. This one half touching, this is touching, and this one's two half. You can even see like a line is going here. And this one was touching, and this one was touching quarter. Those two wasn't touching nothing. What the hell, I wonder. Also I see some piece of plastic here. I wonder where they come from. I found from where the parts is falling from. This is a little transformer right here, and you see the half of the top part of the housing is missing, so I found like chunk of it, but some parts probably already fell off complete. And also would like to show you close up. So you see how only part of the chips will be touching. And here you have a good imprint, here and here, nothing in the middle. Same here, one chip touching. There's only sections of the chip touching. So this installation sucks, that's for sure. Okay, card done. Just to show you, old CSQ design. Not big fan of it, but was easy work. Now I need to go to drain the system. I won't film it because I'll do it in warehouse and I don't want to spill anything here, so I'll bring system when it's already empty and we can start work on the motherboard and other stuff.
really bad light here, but just to give you an idea that tube route pretty much stays the same, and just had to cut it a little bit because tube runs was maybe 5 millimeters shorter, but other than that nothing really changed. We have two cards now, a new motherboard which has a very similar layout. Also added fill port, so it's a little bit easier because this reservoir is just simply awful. Absolutely hated it, and hopefully with fill port this will be a little bit easy process. Okay, so I'm going to try to fill it up, and if everything good I will move computer into studio and we'll have a proper look out about all features.
Hey guys, would like to give you a final update on my customer build number 1. Now it's for real. Everything was fixed here. Originally I only supposed to fix water cooling setup because it was leaking, and tube optimization wasn't right, there was no draining port, things like this. So sounds like an easy task to do, but it turns out that we have one card was burned, and after that one PCI slot was also burned. So, and the one we actually needed, which is 16 times speed, and the only stuff we left was 8 and 4, which was really cool. And I suggested shifted to single GPU, didn't work out, and things like this. So finally a customer bite the bullet, bought a brand new motherboard, bring second card, which is works, and I had to disassemble system one more time again and assemble it back. So it wasn't really an uneventful event. I can tell you that I did a really good job with the draining apparently. So the whole liquid went down in 10 minutes. I have nothing really left on the top part of the case. So when I needed to detach tubing and remove the motherboard, I had no spillage, nothing. So it was really work task to do. And if you remember my video number 2 in this series, I was like swearing and has all liquid all over the place when I was draining and disassembling the system for the first time. So it was totally awful task. This time it was nothing special, just done, right? So when I put the board back, it's very similar to version 6, so the Maximus 7, very similar layout. We skipped on the North Bridge water cooling, so that part gone, but we had an additional card here, so things a little bit simplified from the original setup that was before I even touched it. Tube runs was very close. I had to cut tube again because the distance was slightly different, but actual selection for the fittings was exactly the same, so it wasn't a problem. And I just assembled it back relatively quick too. Filling also was relatively easy. I had fill port here, so I was able to pour liquid from outside of the case, which was easier than originally I did it from inside of the case, which was a little bit convoluted task. And I rewired entire case as well, so radiator controlled from one channel on fan controller, the bottom radiator controlled with the second channel on a fan controller, and those case fans on the front of the case they control from the third channel. And I connected back fan just to the motherboard. Well, we also would like to remind you that we work under the budgetary constraints. I estimated that we only need about $200 in fittings to fix it, but things went a little bit out of control and was a little bit more complicated than I thought. Even with all builds I did, I couldn't guess it right. So we went way up, $300 for fittings and tube change, and also some cables like splitters for fans and things like that. But nevertheless, I tried to keep it as controllable in terms of expense as possible, right? So you could even probably beautify even further, but that's what we did. And the final touch that I just did today, I put some extensions, so because customer wanted some sleeving. Oh, one thing that I did, we discussed how to do lighting for the case. Originally I wanted to put a couple strips, but when I experimented with them, it turned out not that good, and for reason is because it has so many fans that has LEDs, so it's already too much stuff going on, so it's too busy. And when you add additional strips, it doesn't really make things look any better, so it was a little bit waste. So I changed gears and I decided, so instead of putting strips, I just put LEDs all over the place. So I put LEDs for the bridge between cards, in CPU block, and also there was one LED in that reservoir, and that how things was rewired, and it looks much better. The tricky part to show you, I'll try to do my best, but the tricky part to show any red type of setups is the fact that red is a hard color to film, so you might see like yellow, it's not yellow, it's just red, and things like this. So I try to film it maybe later, show you different variations, but you probably wouldn't see a build looking as good as it is. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, so I just powered up, so give you some sense how things go on with everything working with all this fan. So again, so I told you that we have control of the top radiator and the bottom radiator we can control with one knob, so it allows my customer to choose what the sound level he wants to have, and when he doesn't game he can slow it down and things like this. And the front of the case also is controlled with one knob. And again, so those are the lights that I showed you. So this seems looks pretty sweet. I use my own dark side light, so I have 3 LEDs in the reservoir and 2 in this CPU block going through the triple splitter, and that connected straight to the motherboard. Everything black, so it's rather stealth. You can see a little bit now because so much light. I have like so much light coming in. But when you have normal environment in normal room, you wouldn't see nothing. So it looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. And yeah, and 2 additional LEDs here with a double splitter, also connected to one of the headers on the bottom of the motherboard. So everything still pretty cool. I like how it works. It's actually the first time I use my own lights, like round ones. I use strips for a few occasions, but I never use actually my own round light. So everything went exactly as I envisioned when I designed those, so I was pretty happy with that. And well, that's pretty much it. That's what we're having here. I had cable fell off the monitor, so I wouldn't, for a second I wouldn't figure out what's going on here, but that's what happened. Okay, so everything works. One thing I didn't really like, doesn't relate to anything that we're doing here, but the system was set up in a RAID, and RAID, as one of the security properties of the RAID, you can't just take RAID hard drives and run to different computer and have everything there. In this particular situation, it was RAID on old motherboard. I moved to new motherboard. It's similar, but nevertheless different computer, right? And just set up BIOS in a RAID configuration. Everything works. So it kind of sucks in terms of security, in my opinion. But it's much better that nobody needs to install Windows in this particular case. Nevertheless, it was something that I didn't expect it. Final comments. I would like to tell you there's a few things I learned myself during that build. One of them, that you're doing estimations, should think twice. And second, I also would like to comment a couple things that I didn't really like in terms of some parts in this particular build. 900D case turns to be a total overpriced piece of garbage. It's very awkward to work with. Everything is super flimsy. Like, look at this, come on. It doesn't warrant price 350 bucks, whatever they want to charge here in Canada. Everything inside really awkwardly to access. Like, look on this, you have this side panel, so deep. Oops. And so when I needed to install motherboard, so I have to go kind of behind that band to put those screws. It was really hard to do. So like even assembly of, forget water cooling, even just put motherboard on this thing with air-cooled system, it's already pain in the ass. So like, I don't know what those guys were thinking when they designed it. It was so much talks and price on internet, how cool this case is. It was total huge event on CIS, and after that tons of other guys was telling that it's the best case ever. Absolutely not. So if you have it, fine, like use it, it does a job. But anybody of you who looking for starting new build, doesn't matter water cooled or air cooled, I'm seriously not recommending to buy it. It's not worth its money, and it's not as good as people try to make you believe. So there's a bunch of other cases could be probably better than this one. Second part, I really hate in this particular build in terms of water cooling. XSPC reservoir turns to be really bitch to deal with. First of all, customer ran liquid halfway. It wasn't even filled, possibly because it was leaked. So we have a little bit of dirt here. because when liquid is not full in the reservoir, you have some marks left. So you can't really disassemble it because it's void warranty. You can't really access it to clean it. So it was impossible to do anything with this reservoir. So now it's a little bit dirty. So for anybody with OCD will be a little bit disappointed about that. Filling this reservoir is absolutely not my task. They have this stupid, I don't know what is this, probably a flow diversion plate. A liquid doesn't really go from the top well, so you need to pour really slowly, which is a really annoying process. And for the person like me with a little patience, it just, you go nuts in 2 minutes, right? So that's what I'm really pissed off both times when I filled it. Also with a fill tube, it was a little bit easier. No side ports, nothing. You have this 3 ports on the bottom, only 1 port on top. Why don't make like freaking 2 ports? So to make it life easy in terms of filling, for example, or even give you more options in terms of like how you would like to connect it. So, you know, the idea I think was kind of good. So we say, okay, let's steal idea from Frozen Q and make it like glowing parts inside, and also steal idea from Aqua Computer to make it glass and merge it together in one cool res, right? So okay, but execution wasn't that great. So that was a little bit disappointing. I definitely wouldn't recommend this reservoir. Like EK or Bits Power will be 100 times easier and better to use. This thing looks cool on a video, it looks cool on the pictures, but as long as you have to deal with this, it's not that cool. That's my point. I'm going to arrange a meeting with my client. We hopefully get a little bit better temperature soon, so it will be freaking -10, and we can move it in you know, in a car, and he can pick it up locally. It's not going to be shipped, just for the local pickup. All right, so happy to finish this baby because I really want to work on 2 of my own builds. Ruby is in standstill, and test bench also in standstill, but now we at least with 1 build out of the way, I can concentrate on other 2, which I will be doing with pretty shortly, and happy to do it. All right, thanks again. Thank you for watching. I hope you picked up something from this video, and maybe it will help you to build your own computer. See you soon.